Welcome to Off the Charts podcast. This is the 6th episode of the podcast. And first of all, sorry for the 2 weeks long break. He's going to tell you the reason why.
It was very eventful 2 weeks, I think, for both of us. So there were 2 weddings in the families. Your wife's sister got married.
Yeah.
Congrats to her. Congrats to the family.
Yeah.
And I got married. We had our official registration of the marriage, not the actual wedding, but we registered our marriage essentially. And that's why we were off for the last 2 weeks, and they were on different weekends, unfortunately.
Yeah, the wedding is actually in March. You got married. The wedding is in March. Yeah. I'm very excited for it. So we are off to Sri Lanka in March. That's going to be exciting. Yeah. So that's why 2 weeks we were planning still like on weekdays. My trip was a bit haphazard. I was like, I don't know when I'm going to come. I came in and I got sick. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear it in my voice still that I'm still sick. It's actually Saturday at 7 p.m. We are recording this podcast in the evening because in the morning, what happened?
In the it was a lot of things just happening
in the past 2 weeks.
In the past 2-3 weeks, yeah.
He got married and he was pregnant.
Yeah, we had a child. We got a puppy. His name is Alfie. You guys will most likely meet him very, very soon, hopefully.
We can get into the podcast. We can get Mila and Alfie both.
Absolutely.
So my dogs, you guys have seen Mila already, but Alfie, I'm going to try showing you a picture. This is the picture from this morning. I'm going to zoom in the picture, but yeah.
And he's just a little baby, like he's
2
a
months
Maltipoo.
old.
And he's 2 months old. Yeah, he's so small. He's so adorable. And my heart is doubly full, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I remember the feeling when we got Mila, me and my wife. It's insane, the feeling you get.
Yeah.
We were not planning to get a dog, but we just went there, and then Mila chose us. The dog chooses you, and yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Your life is gonna change for the better. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy because we got him this morning at like 8 in the morning, and literally the entire day has been spent just staring at him, monitoring him. He's had 2 accidents so far. Where he peed where he wasn't supposed to, but it was so adorable. It's just like you still want to eat him alive.
Yeah. So it's a mini Maltipoo, I think.
It's a mini Maltipoo, most likely.
Yeah. He doesn't know if it's a mini or standard, but he's going to know in the next few months.
I mean, we'll see how much he grows. So
yeah. So yeah, it's been a 2 weeks long vacation for us from the podcast. You're not planning to do it. So now it's going to be consistent for the next 3-4 weeks. Then again, his wedding is on a weekend, but we will try to record still weekday. Let's see.
We'll still try. We can maybe plan a bit in advance. I think even during the wedding trip, I think I'll be off for like close to 8-9 days.
Yeah.
So...
And honestly, there was nothing to talk about trading anyway. So let's talk about trading now.
Fair enough, right? The markets have been a whole bunch of nothing, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like most traders would agree with us when we come to that conclusion and I come to this conclusion with facts, because I had a look at the SPX weekly chart just the other day, and it's about 6 months of flat action.
Since October.
It's about 6 months of flat action almost.
Yeah. That's what my thing about the market is, what I think about the market. I posted a live breakdown every single day last week on my Unscripted channel. Monday, the market was closed. It was a short week. Tuesday to Friday, none. I don't see any playbook setup. The only one playbook setup I actually playbooked on my Notion template was on PLTR. That was on 18th of February, if I'm not wrong. 18th was a Wednesday. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday.
It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. It was the day it was gapping up. I don't know what the news was. I think it was just upgrades, and they struck some deal.
So it was a decent setup. If you look at the intraday price action, after the first 10-15 minutes, it set up nicely on the 5-minute chart, had a nice move. The premiums moved like 80-100%. I made a mistake trading the wrong premiums. We can talk about that. Yeah. The switch between the brokers has been a bit difficult for me. I think it's for the better, but the adjustment has been a bit difficult. I got that PLTR move. I was red, then I turned into green for the day. I posted the recap as well. That was a playbook setup. But when I look at it now on the daily chart, it freaking closed like a doji.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, yes, it's an intraday playbook setups, but I don't know. I heard this somewhere that if you can look at the daily chart even after a year from now or 2 years from now, and 2 years from now, and you can still see that, okay, that green bar was really good. That red bar was really good. I remember a few red bars. Last year in July, August, Tesla sold off like crazy. Tesla, and then AMD had a crazy pump in July, August. So you remember those setups, right? Even if I look at that chart, I remember in 2021, February, Tesla had like 2-3 big red bars. Even now, if I look at the daily chart, I can see those setups. So,
and to go with that, like I think most setups, even though they happen, I think there are a few setups here and there, but they're not the ones you're going to remember down the line, because it's what you remember is the daily bar that gets formed, like you said. And we're still stuck in that range for most stocks. It's just been stuck in the range. I think the memory names are the outlier here. And so the memory names going up is the outlier for upside, and the SaaS companies going down is the outlier for downside. But then again, we don't trade we haven't been trading these sectors too actively, but now we're adapting a bit more.
It's weird price action, and the premiums are so expensive. The memory stocks that I can think of that are moving nicely. On Friday, I caught MU. MU freaking premiums are $14 a contract.
It's absurd, right? The IV is so high on them.
I trade the next week expiry on Friday. I don't like trading the same day expiry, especially if I'm like freaking $1,000 green for the week. I don't have the cushion to risk more money. I took like MU, the spreads is like 10%. The bid is at 13.8, the ask is at $15. I mean, like, you don't deserve it. You like, why do you have such expensive?
Well, if you think about it, right? Like, if you remember back in like 2020, 2021, when I think maybe Tesla, Amazon were around, I don't think Amazon was up $800, but Tesla, maybe when it was around $800, the premiums were maybe 20, 25 for the weekly expiries. And this is about half the price, and it's half the stock price is also about half from whatever. So, I mean, realistically speaking, it's expensive because it's priced in. The IV is high, the ATR is high, they're moving. It's justified. But I guess we haven't seen those kind of premium prices in a long time since that crazy market. I mean, if you think back to 2020, 2021, there was a time we were trading Tesla premiums at $4,000 a premium.
Yeah.
So
pre-split.
It's just, I guess, it's been a while since we've seen that kind of
pre-split, right?
Yeah, pre-split.
They were like $30-$40 each.
Yeah.
I remember $20 was the minimum kind of
But
thing.
I also remember trading like 5-10 contracts of that because it was that expensive.
And that's why I feel like even though my P&L, I mean, yes, it's higher, but my commissions are way higher now compared to 2022-21, because the thing is, people don't understand this. And that's why I get this question. We can talk about the broker switch now. This is the trading section of the podcast. I have been getting a few comments on YouTube. So I posted a live recap every day and people were like, yes, they were saying the same thing, that the market has been dead. I got a few comments on my Instagram as well. They said the same thing, that the market is not moving. The volume is low. Even if you look at the monthly bars, the volume this year has been low overall.
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
the market, like nothing is moving the market.
It hasn't moved. The market has not moved.
Trump is not, like even Trump says anything, the market is like, he keeps on saying it.
Yeah.
The market is not reacting to Trump saying anything.
Like just on Friday, we had the tariff. The
Supreme Court, yeah.
The Supreme Court ruled against the tariffs. And we had that pop and we just dropped right back into the
Yeah, it was just like V reversals the whole
nothing.
day. Yeah. Google was the best setup. It was a really good daily chart on Google. And Microsoft, I think, also moved nice. But these outliers are moving. Google, usually 99% of the trading days in a year is really bad. So personally, for me, even if I see a good setup on Google, I'm like, it's just like not worth it. Not worth watching that stock because it fakes out a lot and everything. Yesterday, it actually broke above the camera levels, retested R4 and R3 and then pushed towards the
R3
upside.
had a really nice retest on the moment. I checked it. I mean, I technically had Google on watch yesterday, but I was focused on something else. I can't remember what. So I ignored
MU,
Google
I
at the time.
think.
Maybe it was MU.
We were trading MU, yeah.
Yeah, so MU. But Google had a pretty nice retest of R3 and it continued.
And Google, when it moves, Google premiums are also nice. So they pay like 200-300%.
It's just so hard to know when it moves.
So yesterday, even if you don't trade the same day expiry, you trade the next week expiry, I'm pretty sure the premiums moved like 300%, 250%.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty cheap. That's the thing about Google. It doesn't move a lot. That's why the premiums are cheap. MU is moving a lot. So the premiums are very expensive, but it's very hard to find the risk to reward on MU. But Google is something that doesn't move a lot. Same thing as Microsoft and same thing as Apple. These stocks, they don't move a lot. That's why the premiums are cheap. But the day they move, the premiums pay a lot.
Yeah, but with stocks like MU, I think the spreads is also something to consider. It's like, even if the setup is really good, you have to give yourself, like you have to consider the spreads being as a part of your risk.
Yeah. And one more thing is that the broker switch. So it's been a pretty difficult week for me, the switch between the brokers. So I talked about this. I have moved from Interactive Brokers to Lightspeed. I'm not on the fence at the moment. I have been using Lightspeed regularly. I mean, for the past 4 days, consistently for the past 4 days. And the reason was commissions. So we can talk about commissions because in 2021-22, if you make 6 figures in a year, the premiums are so expensive. You're paying $20 for a contract. And at the moment, the premiums are $3. So for the same size of investment, for the same percentage reward, for example, I made $10,000. Like if I made $10,000 in 2021 to making $10,000 now, I have to buy 50 contracts compared to 10 contracts.
Yeah.
In 2021.
Yeah.
So that's 5 times more commissions. And I checked last year, how much I paid? Like once
200 something.
$200,000?
200 something.
Yeah. $200,000 in commissions. I got this question like, why are you switching brokers? That was a valid question. I also thought the same. why are you switching brokers? Because one trade is going to pay for the brokerage commissions and everything. No, it's not one trade. It's like,
if you think cumulatively,
it adds up.
Even if you're profitable, the costs of commissions still add up. Like, I don't know your exact P&L for last year, whatever it was, but no matter what it was, 200,000 of commission still adds up.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like it's with Lightspeed, hypothetically, if you were trading on Lightspeed, I think your commissions would have been 50, 40.
That's the thing. Even if you're making 7 figures, my PL was not 7 figures. That's my goal for this year. But this year, the market has been so bad. But even if your PNL is 7 figures and you're paying 200K in commissions, it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's like 20% you're paying in commissions, which is not okay. And for the same fill, if the other brokers...
That's the key point, right? Like, it's not like... And this is coming from someone who's been using IBKR since we pretty much started trading.
Yeah.
If another broker can do it for cheaper and give you the same quality of execution, and there's no real tangible benefit to sticking with something that's more expensive, why stick with it?
So have you watched my live trading videos that I posted?
Yeah.
So did you realize that there's a delay in the fills or...
On IBKR or Lightspeed?
Lightspeed.
Not at all.
My recent.
It looks instantaneous.
So yeah, so I had an issue. So very first day of February, I traded on Lightspeed. The fills were really bad. So I traded using the smart account, the smart SMRT. So a few fills were really good, but the other fills were not that good. So that's why I did not sign the agreement, and I was like, I want to test it more. So now I'm using direct routing to CBOE, and that has been like better than IBKR. So it's better than IBKR. So now I place the hotkey, it fills me.
Yeah.
So if I'm paying, say 30% of the commissions, that means I was paying 200,000. Last year I paid 200,000. So now with Lightspeed, I'm going to be paying like 50, 60K. If the fills are good, that's 140K added to your P&L. It's not like, yes, I can make 140K in freaking 15 more trades. That doesn't matter.
That's
At the end
point
of the
we're
day,
trying to
it
make
adds
here, right?
up.
So like it just adds up to your P&L, and that's still tangible amounts.
It's a business at the end of the day. So if you can protect your cost, if you can lower your cost, why not? And lower your cost by like 70%, 60%, then why not? So for now, I tested Lightspeed on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days last week. Very happy with it. And I'm going to test it more next week. And if everything is fine, I'm going to sign the agreement with them. So we are going to have an affiliate link for you guys as well. And you guys are going to get a good deal because, and I think because he's waiting for me to test it out because he's going to switch as well.
Most likely, yeah.
There are a few quirks about the platform that I realized, but then again, I have found workarounds. So for example, if you have multiple pages, there is an issue that sometimes when you click on the option chain, maybe it's only on Mac OS, it's not on Windows OS. Windows, not OS, Windows. But when you have multiple pages, sometimes the option chain I am on, it doesn't change. Like for example, I click on the option, it's not changing on the level 2 window of the option.
Oh, so is that why the expiry dates have not
Yeah,
been
that's
changing
why
for you?
I made a lot of mistakes. Like on PLTR, I traded Feb 20. So I don't know what happened. I had different pages. On PLTR, I traded PLTR on Wednesday and I traded Feb 27 premiums. Like next week expiry for Friday. I wasn't even aware of it. I posted a recap on YouTube. No one even mentioned that.
I didn't notice it at
Yeah.
all.
And I realized it the next day. I was like, what the hell? Like I'm used to IBKR. Okay, I switched the contract once. It stays the same. But then it switched in the middle on like Wednesday or something. So I just removed the multiple pages. I only have one page now.
Yeah.
So like one page, I can trade one contract. And
But
then
what
I
if
can
you
switch.
what if you want to keep like 2 setups on watch at any given point in time?
So yeah, I mean you can watch 2 stocks, but
Like if
maybe
you want to have 2 option chains open.
maybe I can have 2 option chain on one page instead of having multiple pages.
Okay.
So yeah, it still
just
has
something
quirks.
needs to be tinkered. Like I'm sure if this is an actual issue, they're aware of it because it seems pretty fundamental. And if
I
not,
don't
then I think
so. It happens with Windows because on Mac OS as well, they're running on the Intel thing. So they're running
Okay.
on the.
So
it's
just
not
ported,
the
it's
Apple
not the
Silicon.
actual ARM.
It's still the Windows app, just made for Mac OS. So I don't know what.
should maybe try running it on Parallels.
Can do that, but again, Parallels. I don't want a lot of things on Parallels.
Fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it has its quirks. But if it's similar to DAS, right? DAS, like if you install DAS for the very first time, DAS Trader Pro. It's freaking insane. Like once you open it, you'll be like, what the fuck is
What
this?
am I looking at?
What am I looking at? But the thing about that platform is that it's highly customizable. So you can customize each and everything about the platform. Same as Lightspeed, you can customize everything about that platform, the font and everything. It's highly customizable. It has its course, and I think it's mainly with macOS. But you can find your workarounds. Even for the hotkeys, I mentioned that in the Discord group as well, that once I update the hotkeys, I have to create new hotkeys instead of like if I can't
edit
update
them.
the existing hotkey
Yeah.
because it's like if I change the size from 5 to 10, it works. But if I change the order routing, it doesn't update. So maybe I think it's Mac OS only thing. I'm still sick. You guys can hear it. So now you continue. How was your trading last week?
Tricky. I have sized down because I think for maybe Jan, we were still in similar market conditions, and I think to a large extent I was trying to like force setups with a lot of size, and I feel like we're in that sort of phase of the market where it makes more sense to protect your capital, take your base hits, take your small wins, small losses, and then there will still come those 1-2 days where it's opportune time to like capitalize. But to a large extent, I feel like it makes a lot more sense to stay conservative until you sort of feel more confident in the market, especially with the way we trade, right? So I feel like maybe there are different traders who excel in a range bound market. I don't think that's my trading style per se. So I think specifically to momentum traders, directional traders, not reversal traders, but more breakout traders, I think it makes more sense to be conservative in a time like this. And that's the best thing you can do.
And that's the best thing about Lightspeed as well. So another pro of Lightspeed. So there are like 90% pros and 10% cons. And cons are also something, if you start using the platform, you get used to the cons. Same thing, Interactive Brokers is not the best platform in the world. Thinkorswim is much more user friendly.
Yeah, it looks better as well. Like the
but
interface,
you get used to it,
you
right?
get used to it.
So I'm making these mistakes, not checking the contracts, the expiry date. Eventually, I'm gonna find my workaround. If I only have one page, then the expiry doesn't change.
Yeah.
So I can just have multiple option window on one page. I'm gonna find a
And you can
workaround.
also use that technique where you build that watch list and you just load the expiries or the contracts you foresee yourself trading for the day in the beginning itself, and then you just click that and
you can also have the contracts on the watch list
instead of having the option chain.
That's going to be easier. So for me personally, even if you guys watch my previous videos with Interactive Brokers, usually I don't hold more than one position. It's rarely the case. And even if I'm taking another position, there's another good thing about Lightspeed is that if you're taking multiple positions, usually I only take second position if the first position is only like 10% left. Load of contracts, right? So you can actually click on the positions, right click and close the position.
Okay.
So it shows under the position. You can right click and close.
Just easy way
Instead of opening the option chain and doing that again, you can just do that.
Yeah.
But the best thing about Lightspeed that I love, you also love that thing. What is it?
I'm not sure what to say. The speed, execution,
max risk per day.
Oh yes.
So you talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like I've taken some pretty big losses this year, and more than anything, it just affects your confidence. And the thing is, in hindsight, those losses were very controllable, because it's not like I took a good setup and lost. I took a bad setup and lost. I was not in the right frame of mind and lost. And with Lightspeed, compared to IBKR, Lightspeed has the option where you can call them up and tell them that...
People are actually not aware of it, because when they reached out to me, I actually asked them, do you have it? Because I always wanted this feature on Interactive Brokers, never had it. Because like I have talked about this multiple times. I'm going to go in a different tangent as well, because like, for example, an athlete like Ronaldo or Messi, they can perform at their best like 10 out of say 8 matches out of 10. The 2 matches, they are still underperforming, but they are not losing money for underperforming. They are still getting paid at the end of the match. They are still getting the sponsorships. But as traders, maybe you had a fight. Maybe your dog is sick. Maybe something happened in your life. Maybe to someone you love. You still show up to trade, which is okay. You want to trade, right? And you lose money. Trading is the only career, maybe the only career, I don't know about the other, but like in my opinion, it's the only career where if you don't show up at your 100%, you make a mistake, you lose money. If you do all the right things and you lose money, that's part of trading.
Yeah.
But a lot of these days, like for example, last year, Mila, my dog was sick, she fainted. The next day I lost like $15,000 or $10,000, something like that, right? But it's easily avoidable, and that's why I feel like all these athletes, yes, trading is a sport. Yes, you have to be at your best, but no one can be at their best every single freaking market open day.
Yeah.
So on Lightspeed, I asked this question to them because when I started out trading, if you guys don't remember, I have talked about this in my trading journey video as well. On Dash Trader Pro, I used to trade shares. I had a max risk per day of only $10. So after $10, the platform won't close the position. You can actually ask them to close the position with Dash, but not with Lightspeed. If I reach like $11, $12, it won't let me place any more trades. So I changed that from $10 to $20 to $50 to $100 to $150. So I kept increasing it. And then I switched to Interactive Brokers in February 2020. Since then, my account has grown a lot, but the big red days have been like 70K, 60K, 50K. And once I look at those red days, I'm like, I could have easily stopped at $10,000.
Yeah.
It's just a barrier between you and you just being the best version of yourself and just saving yourself from the worst version of yourself.
I mean, I think in trading, you are your biggest enemy or your biggest supporter. Like, you are the only obstacle in your way.
And people are going to say, just man, stick to your risk management. Yes, that's what I'm saying. 90% of the
It's
days
easier said than done taking your risk
you can stick to your
management.
risk management 90% of the days, but shit happens, man. Like something happens, shit hits the fan, and like you
Yeah.
have something in your life, you still want to trade, you see a really good setup, you don't execute well. Trust me on this, right? For example, there's something going on in your life, you're not well tested, you see a really good setup, you miss out on it. And then you overtrade.
Yeah.
You blow past your stop loss. You are like, freaking shit. I should have made $10,000 on it. I'm down $10,000. You blow up your account.
Yeah.
Happens. Not blow up your account. You lose a lot more money than you should have. So with Lightspeed, when they reached out to me, I asked them, do you have this feature? They're like, yes, we have this feature. So it's a very kind of boutique broker. They cater to you. So they actually want you to keep trading, and the commissions, like interactive brokers, I don't know why they don't have it. Even Thinkorswim, I think, has it.
It's a pretty straightforward concept. Like it's not hard to implement, I feel.
Yeah, but they just don't want to have it because if they stop you out at a loss of $5,000,
There's no more commissions that day for them.
I pay the most commissions when I'm on tilt.
Yes.
Right. So for them, it's like, okay,
You
people
say
are
that
going-
again. I pay my most commissions when I'm on tilt.
Yeah.
Like it's so true. I never clock those two together because when you're on tilt, you're basically overtrading with a lot of size, and that makes a lot of sense why Interactive Brokers has not implemented the feature.
Yeah, that's why, because they are making money from the tilt of people.
Yeah.
So they are like, for your funding account, you're making money. So that's another good business. I'm pretty sure if they implement this, their revenue is going to go down by multi-seven figures.
Yeah.
It's me, $2,000, like $200,000 in commissions. Imagine me multiplied by million, not even like multi-8 figures. Their revenue is going to go down. That's why they are not making that decision.
Yeah.
So with Lightspeed, they contacted me. I was like, do you have this feature? They were like, yes, there's an email address. You can send them an email. They're going to do it within the next few minutes. But if it's very urgent, you can actually send an email, set a max stop loss of say $2,000. At the moment for me, it's $2,000. And if you want that processed urgently, send the email. They want it in writing, but then call them and say that, can you process it, please? And they were pretty chill on the phone. They processed it.
Yeah.
And for example, so again, once you reach $2,000, it's not like they will close your positions. They won't close your positions because they don't want to take the liability of closing the position, which makes sense.
I wouldn't want someone to close a position that I'm open in. But once I exit that position and my realized PNL is whatever amount I said, I should not be allowed to trade anymore.
So if you want to see how it works, watch my live trading video I posted from Thursday on Jay Avtani Unscripted channel. So I actually forgot about that $2,000 because I'm used to interactive.
I think
brokers.
you were on live that day.
Yeah, I was trading live.
On live, I think I remember him saying, I think you tried to take another
live
position
on the Discord group. I forgot about it. So I reached I took 3 losses on Tesla. $2,300 red. So again, I blew past $2,000, but I covered my second loss was $1,800. Third position I took $2,300. That's how it works. And then I was like, it's pushing towards the upside. I tried again, not filling me. Tried again, not filling me. Tried again, not filling me. I'm like, what the?
So you got to witness this live where he actually was trying to place the order, and he also didn't realize that why is my order not going through? And then he realized that, okay, it's because I set this limit.
Yeah.
Which was,
because
again,
I set this
in hindsight,
limit,
it was a good thing, right? Because even at the end of that day,
was shitty price,
it was like nothing was there.
Yes, I could have made $500,000, but in the long run, honestly, on Thursday, this feature kind of cost me money because it pushed towards the upside. I would have most likely ended up green, but that's not the point. In the long run, yes, I could have made $2,000, but this feature is saving me $50,000
one day
on tilt days.
On one of the.
I wasn't on tilt on Thursday.
Yeah,
size is down. It's okay.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing, sizing down also, because when you're down, I think at least at the scale that you're trading at or you're used to trading at, when you're down 2,000, it's not tilt triggering. So
eventually the goal is to increase it to $5,000, $10,000. Like if I am on my green streak and everything, I still need it at $10,000, at $15,000, maximum $20,000. My big red days have been like $70,000. Eventually, even doesn't matter how much you grow in your trading, set a limit at $50,000. I have seen so many people, they reach like $1 million. If you read the books and listen to the books, Market Wizards, they talk about, I lost like $200,000 in one day, $300,000. Doesn't matter how much you grow in trading. You can lose it. You might have $1 million account, you trade SPY, same day expiry with $800,000, you lose it all.
Yeah.
So that's why like having this limit, I think it's going to be beneficial. And that's what stopped me on Thursday. I ended the week green because maybe of this feature. It stopped me from over trading on Thursday because I would have most likely made money, then maybe lost money.
Maybe you would have
again.
lost money after that as well. You never know.
And then this feature also saves on commissions because after reaching a stop loss, you can't trade anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the good thing. I'm going to try it out further for the next few days. And if everything is good and everything is good, maybe by the next podcast, I'm going to have an affiliate link for you guys.
Yeah. So I was thinking about, in case I don't switch to Lightspeed, maybe even for interactive brokers, since they don't have the feature, with the way like I guess coding has been lately and working with AI. I was thinking maybe I can make a tool, a software that lives inside, not a visible software, but something that lives almost like a Trojan on your computer. And I'm using this word Trojan because like you don't know it exists. It's just there in the background, and it essentially is reading your Interactive Broker's P&L page maybe. And once you've realized past your max stop loss, it just crashes the application and it doesn't allow you to reopen it. And the only way to actually open Interactive Brokers would be to like uninstall said Trojan, said software that I've created, so to speak. And the reason you would not uninstall that package is because when you uninstall it, it automatically removes all traces of itself. So you would have to recreate it and go through the effort of building it again. And maybe psychologically at that point, you still have the mental awareness to be like, you know what, this is there for the good of me.
I think that's the case with Lightspeed as well. With Lightspeed, as I mentioned, once I reached 2,300 on Thursday, theoretically, I could have emailed them, send them in writing, call them to do that request, to process the request ASAP. They can increase my stop loss.
Just
to
a
$5,000.
habit breaking situation.
But that breaking that thought process, do you want to do it? Because you go on tilt if you just don't get off your setup. And it's difficult to get off your setup when you are in tilt.
Yeah.
It's just like a barrier in between your negative process thinking. If you know how the brain works, it's like you get in that negative cycle of thinking. If you just break that cycle, the neurons that fire together, wire together. Right?
Yeah.
This is a quote from a book. I think, I don't know, Atomic Habits, something like that. So that neurons, that tilt is like the neurons are wiring together. So they are wired now. And every time you go on tilt, you are firing the same neurons.
Yeah.
And it's just like a vicious cycle of neurons firing and you blowing up your account. And if you just break that cycle by getting off your setup, sometimes it's like if you reach your stop loss, if you get off your setup, I'm telling you, within 5 minutes, you will be like, fuck it. I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade. I don't want to show up. But it's just like you don't get up. So that barrier of the Trojan working or the Lightspeed calling Lightspeed, you won't do it.
It's almost giving you a second chance to think of it.
And if you still do it, then you're stupid.
Yeah, you're hopeless.
Yeah, if I also do it, I'm hopeless.
I feel like the thought, even the simple thought of creating a software to like help my trading has honestly, it's only come about with the age of AI, with the revolution that is AI. And I feel like in 2022, we were at a stage with AI and your ChatGPT, which was pretty much the only AI service provider, so to speak, that existed at the time. But it was basically just an advanced Google search manager that gave you results quicker than Googling something, because you didn't actually have to manually open every single link. But AI in 2026 is turning hard skills into soft skills.
Of you. So in 2022, so you are searching on Google, but ChatGPT has a bit more context of you. Google that doesn't have a context of you. That was the difference between Google and ChatGPT.
Yeah, but that was 2022. Yeah. And now in 2026, I feel like AI is literally turning hard skills into soft skills. And the sky's the limit now with the way we are going. I feel like back in the day, you used to like identify yourself as, okay, I'm a coder, I'm a designer, I'm a lawyer. I mean, of course, like lawyers will still exist because you need the certification and stuff. But for basic things, right? Like your identity is no more defined by like the hard skill you had. Your identity now is, are you an executor? Are you a director? Can you work on these projects efficiently? Can you strategize? It's not the hard skill that you have anymore. Like, I don't think, because we've been working on the project that we are working on in the back end, I don't think I would call myself a coder. I don't think I'd call myself a designer. I don't think I'd call myself any specific thing. I feel like my main role would be to be a director, to be an executor, to be able to strategize and think critically. And that's the way AI has gone lately. And AI can make you faster at being average if you stop thinking critically.
Yeah. That's the benefit of AI, that for me as well, I bought a Mac Mini. So if you don't know what's happening in the AI world, AI universe, you should follow a few YouTube channels. You recommend the channels?
I watch a couple. Greg Eisenberg, really good guy.
I don't know about him.
He has some really nice podcasts. So he brings on these smaller people that the world hasn't heard of, but they have these brilliant AI ideas. So the other day I watched a podcast on how this guy has set up OpenClaw. If you don't know what OpenClaw is, I'm sure Jai will get into it very shortly. But he set up this OpenClaw, and the OpenClaw is essentially finding tasks like jobs on Upwork.com. And the OpenClaw is applying for those projects, getting the project roles, building out those softwares or the tools that are there on those roles, and getting paid. So and the actual person's not doing anything; he's just getting paid.
Yeah. So I recently bought a Mac Mini. It's been a week now. I got it on Tuesday last week. So for OpenClaw setup, again, people can say that you can set up on the VPS and shit. I'm like, it's okay. I wanted to get a Mac Mini because I tried setting up on the VPS. It wasn't user friendly at all. So I got a Mac Mini. It was fairly cheap. I paid like 2,500 dirhams.
Get it while it's cheap.
Yeah, it's gonna get expensive and it's getting out of stock. So when I saw it, it was available at Dubai Mall, but then it went out of stock. But then I ordered it. They actually delivered it 2 days after 2 days, but the timeline was showing like 7-8 days. So they delivered it before the timeline. I set up OpenClaw. So OpenClaw is something that is like you are giving unrestricted access to ChatGPT or Gemini basically. So it can do a lot more stuff that like for example, ChatGPT has a brain. OpenAI and Claude, they have the brain, but they are still limited to the platform you're using. Yes, Claude Cowork is something that can do a few things on your computer, but OpenClaw is like unhinged. It can learn
Unhinged.
and it's like, for example, it just learns on its own and keeps on improving on its own. But I also feel like Claude Code is still better in developing a few applications because I developed like a few mission control and a few UI things that I use Claude Code for OpenClaw. But the thing is that I'm using Claude and OpenAI models with OpenClaw. So it's basically, if you don't know what OpenClaw is, it's going to be like another 2 hours conversation. Follow the guy that you mentioned, Greg
Eisenberg. So Greg Eisenberg is not fully, I would say, educational. I'm going to teach you about how to use the AI. Actually, he does. But he basically introduces you to ideas that you can execute yourself.
Yeah.
As someone who maybe if you don't want to like deal with human beings and you just want to like find these sort of side hustles that require low effort, he interviews these people that have these crazy ideas that you can do yourself.
And the other YouTuber is Alex Finn. Alex Finn is good. And the other one is Matthew Behrman. He's also good. Yeah. So you just have to follow these channels and they will tell you what is happening in the AI universe and OpenClaw and everything what is happening in the AI world. It's kind of amazing. Like at the moment, I can fully automate. I automated like the last video I posted on my unscripted channel, the live trading video, just the workflow, the AI automatically posted that for me. So I just say new unscripted video. It goes to that folder. It uploads the video, sends me a message. These are the 10 titles I can think. So he's going to ask me what happened on this day. I'm just going to say plus $2,000. 0% win rate or like plus $2,000. So not 0% win rate, but I went from red to green. Just like these 2 sentences is going to give me 10 title options, generate a YouTube description, go on YouTube, upload the video, the title I select, it's going to update the title, put the description, and it's going to be like, okay, check the video. Everything is fine. Publish it for me.
And OpenClaw is the type of tool where if you set up these cron jobs, is what it's called. If you set up the right type of cron jobs, it can literally save you at least 2 hours of a day of like very basic tasks that don't require real thinking, but it's just like mechanical tasks. And that's essentially what OpenClaw is today. And like you were mentioning earlier when we were having a conversation earlier in the day, AI right now is the worst it's ever going to be. And that it's the worst it's ever going to be tomorrow. It's just basically going to keep getting better. So if we're giving it these mundane tasks right now, I can imagine that very, very shortly, in a shorter period of time, we're going to be at a stage where AI is going to be a lot more capable and it can do, unfortunately or fortunately, a lot more deep thinking.
That's why I got the Mac Mini as well. I'm still within the 14 days return window. I might return it, but I don't plan to return it because all the AI stuff that is happening, a lot of the new AI features, the new AI softwares, like for example, at the moment is OpenClaw. In future, it might be something else, right? So now I'm pretty sure OpenAI and Anthropic are going to come out with their own version of OpenClaw, which is going to be a lot more secure. But then we might have something else. So I want a separate machine because if you want to get used to this AI and be in this, because for what we are working on, I'm trying my best to stay up to date with AI. So I wanted a different machine where I can try out these new AI things because our main job, because what we are working on, it's like a combination of trading and AI. And I just want to stay up to date with what is happening with AI because eventually when we launch, we actually opened the beta version. We are going to be opening the beta version of the app we are working on.
Very soon.
For the Discord members and then maybe for the podcast as well in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
can try
absolutely.
it out. We don't want a lot of people for beta testing, but we want a variety of brokers for beta testing.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's only open to Discord members. Eventually, we might launch it for the podcast as well. So I won't do it on the main channel because a lot more views.
Yeah.
So might do it on the unscripted
and
channel.
You can just like keep it like hidden in the middle of the podcast. No like links, if you're like watching through that part, then that's the only way you can get access.
Because we don't want a lot of people, like beta testing.
Truly, yeah.
And the good thing about the beta testing is that if you are a beta tester, you will get free access for life, but free basic tier access. I should clear that out as well. Because it's not like we want to make money from you, but the AI tokens are expensive.
I mean, it gets quite expensive. So like we've been testing it for like the better part of 5 months now. And some of the more advanced features in the tool, the cost can add up.
It's like $2 a day.
$2 a day.
If you do everything, it's like $2 a day. So if you're a beta tester, we are going to give you the basic free version for free. But for AI, we can't bear the cost of $2 a day every day for all the beta testers for the rest of the life.
Yeah.
Right. So beta testing, you're going to get the app for free, but the AI tokens, it's not up to us, right?
Yeah.
It's
if we could eat costs forever, we would do it. But
yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's going good. But because of that business, that side of the business and that side of my life in general, I want to stay up to date with AI because I feel like, yes, I am past 30 now. You are still in your 20s. But I feel like people who are coming out like now, 18, 20, if you want to fight with them when it comes to like developing things, it's going to be insane. It's going to be a bloodbath.
The way the world is going, at least, this is it's a scary aspect. But I feel like AI literacy is now the baseline. Like if you are not literate in the way that to use AI to your benefit, it's not going to take a long time for your skill set to be gone, essentially. Like you will get eaten up by robots.
Yeah, basically, so my OpenClaw, it has like one main agent and 3 sub agents. So it has like a chief of staff and 2-3 sub agents, right? I sent you a screenshot as well. So for example, now any 18, 20 years old can have, at the moment, as you mentioned, it's going to be the worst it's ever going to be. That's the best part about AI. So OpenClaw, yes, you can have sub agent. One agent is working on your YouTube, giving you the scripts and everything. The second agent is uploading the videos. The third agent is generating the short form content, uploading the content based on how well your videos perform. For example, your video is like the highest viewed at 6 p.m. Dubai time or whatever. So it's going to check the stats and it's going to look at your YouTube analytics and then upload the video based on that.
I mean, yeah. So like at the end of the day, I feel like with a 19-year-old with like drive, ambition, taste, and like a direction to strategically think of a project, it's going to replace like agencies where they used to like employ huge teams to like strategize, to build for all the hard skills, all those things. It's not only the skill now, it's also the time it takes to execute the actual the building of the platform, right? Like with AI, I feel like there's so many projects that are coming out and at a much faster pace. The time it used to take to build something like 5 years ago might have been like 2 to 3 years to actually build a solidly built platform. It can now be done in like 2 to 3 months. And the downside of that is that with that speed, with that maybe like not having the hard skill, there's a lot of gaps that come in where this term that's called AI slop, where it's like you just generate something without actually knowing how the backend functions, without knowing how the API is linking to your platform, without knowing how your database is set up. I've seen a bunch of reels on Instagram where these people have vibe coded a website, and the website is localhost ;3000, and then the reels saying I shared this link with my friend but he's unable to open it. So I mean, with this intelligence also comes the downside of not knowing what is legitimate, what's genuine. How do you build trust in an application when you don't know the actual backend of that application? And the reputation you build when you build something, that's what's going to count more than the actual application.
Yeah, you will need a bit of back-end education. Education, it's not about the schooling. I think you are a computer science engineer as well.
I'm not a graduate, so...
Yeah, so, but you know about
I mean, I studied like computer science with on a base level, which is why I think to a large extent, I was able to catch on to the trend fairly quickly. I still feel like I was quite late. And I'm able to understand the back end and how things link up and how do you actually strategically build a platform from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm an electronics engineer, but I worked in IT. So the local host thing, that's why I know.
Like, so thankfully that still counts for something.
Yeah.
Like you still, like the things you sort of studied about, the technical aspects of it still counts for something.
But even if you read like local host, it's locally hosted on your system, right?
Yeah.
Even you can't access it from your network. From network as well, you need to use the IP address of the device, right? So these are the basic things that you will need. Even if you are like a 15 years old kid, you can. So now the good thing is that you can ask AI that, okay, why is my friend not able to access the website? It's going to give you the answer, but you still need to have the literacy
to just think about like,
yeah, just like learn from it. And the learning opportunities are insane at the moment. But what do you think about we are working on this AI thing. The business is set up, the backend is set up at the moment. Hopefully, we'll be launching in the next, I would say, most likely Q2. We are in Q2?
No, we're in Q1.
Q2 2026. So we are planning for May. Might skip to like June, April to June. Between April
might be
to
a little
June.
earlier also. Let's see.
Between April to June. So we just want it to be really good. We have been testing it myself since
Exactly right. So we don't want to
ourselves,
we don't want to deliver AI slop.
Yeah.
So a lot of the thinking that goes behind making a platform that's reliable, that's trustworthy, that works not just for a day but for an entire.
Talk about the conversation we had yesterday night. So we have so now we have two pathways. We can release the beta version now to the Discord members, but then we had this conversation yesterday night. What did we talk about?
So apologies to the Discord members if you're watching this right now. I mean, the Discord's super excited to actually start using the beta as well. But basically, we were having a conversation because, and this also connects back to the other point where you said that you have to keep learning to stay up to date. So it was, I think, day before yesterday morning, I was just sitting and we're waiting for approval on our Apple developer account. So if you're watching this from Apple, please approve us quickly.
They are not. They are not.
But we're waiting on that. So I was essentially, I had some time on my hands and I took that entire morning to just study more and see what could be improved. And I realized that our entire RAG system that exists currently, a lot of aspects of it are very well designed, but then there are still so many more aspects that can be improved to give better quality outputs on our platform. And so I devised an entire plan with the help of our friendly engineer, Cloud Code. And we devised a plan, and that plan is a bit intense. It restructures a lot of the back end, and it's important to sort of test that out thoroughly before we launch even to the beta. Because what you're delivering is not just a one-time thing. You're delivering an experience, and this is what you said to me when we had that conversation, is that your first impression is most likely going to be your last impression. So we don't want to deliver garbage. We want to deliver something that is worth sticking with.
Yeah. At the moment, we have been using it. I have moved over to the platform that we are working on completely this year, basically. And it's amazing. Like, it just, we can't talk about it a lot, but it just tells you to focus on the right things.
Yeah. And so what he told me was we had a discussion on this, and it was around the lines of, you want to deliver the best possible experience, and the changes in the RAG system that will be implemented will deliver that experience tenfold. So it's worth pushing the product maybe 1-2 weeks more so that we can test it just that little bit more to ensure everything's working as it was earlier before launching and giving a better experience.
But I can't wait to talk about it, because we talked about this in the Discord group, and I was like, I kept on going on. I was like, we ended the webinar at 9:25. The market was about to open at 9:30. So it was very exciting, and I'm so excited for it because we have personally been using it since October last year. The first few weeks was like very rough, but
I remember the first build actually of the application. It wasn't even on our devices.
We are on 57th beta, right? And it's still not. We could have been like on 80.
So the 57th build that you see on your test slide is only the deployed builds, right?
Yeah.
I think I've probably installed the application on my phone like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
At least 1,000 times.
Yeah.
With a new update each time.
Yeah. So it's insane, like what we have been working on, and the quality of it at the moment is dialed down. Because if you guys don't know me, I'm coming from a place that I just want everything to be perfect. Even if you watch my YouTube videos, it's like I go through those videos myself. Even if like this table or this book is slightly towards the right and not left. Mm-hmm. So whenever like he builds something, I look at the UI. So I like, okay, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. This is not right. So I'm very particular about how something looks.
Being nitpicky about these minute details is what makes greatness.
And that's the understanding between us as well, because I know I'm nitpicky, and then he's also coming from a place that, okay, we want this to be perfect. It's not like we can't ship a product that is like half-baked.
It cannot be half-baked. It cannot have holes in it. There cannot be security issues. There cannot be privacy issues. There's a lot of things to think about before you launch something to the public.
And same thing, like privacy is a big thing with AI, and we are trying our best. We are doing our best, and it's very secure, right? Even everything that you see on your end is going to be encrypted, and we can't even see it, right? And this is a big privacy concern with whatever we are working on with a lot of other people or other, I would say like there's nothing like this in the market, but privacy is a big thing with trading as well. Like
Naturally.
A lot of people are like, I don't want to share this, I don't want to share that, I don't want to share this. So we have focused on this a lot, because me as well, I don't want to share a lot of things about my trading. So we always had that in mind, that we need to keep privacy. And it's like Apple, we use Apple devices. A lot of people use Apple devices because everyone is like, it's secure. I got a Mac Mini and not using VPS because I am like my API tokens and everything. I'm still okay with having a Mac Mini, but on a VPS it can get hacked.
It can, yeah.
Yeah. So instead of setting the firewalls and everything on the VPS, yes, you can make VPS secure, but it's like for a lot of people, especially who have money and who have money to lose, and also who can spend a bit more on the privacy, they will do it.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, the main reason for them going for iPhones, going for MacBook Pros, going for Apple devices is that they are more secure than the Windows counterpart or the
And they're
Android
also
counterpart.
significantly more powerful.
Sorry?
They're also significantly more powerful at
Yeah,
that
especially the
similar price range.
laptops now. So yeah, Apple has actually taken over. We were talking about this. So now, because of Alex Finn, Mac Studios 512 gigs are going out of stock.
He keeps saying 512 gigs
RAM.
going out. What he means is 512 gigs of RAM, not storage.
That one device is like, if you live in Dubai, it's like 40,000 dirhams approximately, 39,000 dirhams. If you order it now, there's a 12 weeks of wait. Like there's a back order of 12 weeks, which is insane.
And I remember telling you this. So like we were discussing this maybe like 2-3 weeks ago when I think you first heard about OpenClaw. And I was like, because he brought up saying, I might get a Mac Mini. I was like, can you do me a favor and just check the actual stock in Apple and see how it is? And at that time, 2-3 weeks ago, it was fine. It was available. You'll get it shipped in 2-3 days. And if you check it now,
it's not there.
It's just not there.
But they are still mass producing it now. So even if the stock is not there, they're shipping it. And that's why I'm saying Apple makes a lot of money, especially on Mac Studio 512 gigs RAM. They are making a lot of money. And I feel like the next earnings, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I think it's something to look out for because their expectations weren't counting this aspect of
the thing is,
sales.
Apple, I think, dropped the ball when it comes to AI LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini. So now they are using Gemini model, which is going to be really good, I feel like, for Siri eventually. But they dialed down on the hardware.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they did. I feel like I got this iPhone 17 Pro. This is the best iPhone I have ever used.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not just saying that because yes, it's iPhone 17. It's going to be better than the iPhone 11. No. iPhone 16 I got was really bad.
Yeah, it was
the
not
quality
a good
of it,
launch.
like it wasn't a good upgrade. It wasn't a good launch. Before that, I had the iPhone 13 Pro. I can easily say iPhone 13 Pro was better than iPhone 16 Pro.
Yeah.
So yes, iPhone 16 Pro was slightly faster, but I don't need that, right? iPhone 17 Pro, like when you use it, you feel the quality, not the quality. I mean, just like overall
There's so
user
many small things,
experience.
like the battery, the
Camera is
cameras.
nice. The way it behaves, it doesn't overheat as well. Overheat was a big issue with iPhone. Like
my phone still overheats,
so that's why like Apple just dialed down. I feel like in the last 2 years, Apple was facing a lot of backlash. They're like, yes, you want to use AI, but use it on our machines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people are buying Mac Studios like crazy now, Mac Minis like crazy now for OpenClaw, because there's no competition for Apple. Like Windows is not good for AI. Copilot, Microsoft is facing a lot of backlash. People are calling it Microslaw, something like that.
I've seen that.
So Microsoft, because they are like, okay, I buy Windows machine and I'm presented with ads. Use this up feature, use this RAI feature. I own Microsoft shares. I want the shares to do well. But these are the comments I read on YouTube.
Microsoft has always been more enterprise. I feel like their services that they provide is more always been towards corporate enterprises and stuff. So I don't think they'll ever get that glamour and the glitz and glamour of a Google who's providing Gemini or an OpenAI who's providing retail services.
These are more about consumer-based products.
Yeah.
Like Google also provides the business things, but more for the consumers.
Yeah. But yeah, like going back to the hardware, a bit surprising, but hardware has become the topic of conversation with AI because with your GPUs, with your memory stocks, with your Apple, with its super powerful processors and their built-in GPUs that are also very powerful as a part of the M4 line. M5 is out, right?
M5, the base model is out. Yeah, the
out.
base, I think the MacBook Pro M5 is out, the base model.
Yeah, so hardware has started to make a huge comeback and it might continue making a comeback while
and
we need
Apple
the
is selling
power.
like crazy now because the Microsoft has dropped the ball when it comes to the consumer products because they are presented with ads, the Copilot ads, like whenever they open something.
I didn't know they put ads in their Copilot.
I think in Windows 11, a lot of people are facing ads when they click on start, use this Copilot feature. Even if they turn it off.
So it's Microsoft ads.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not
not
ads.
Microsoft is just like
use Copilot, use Copilot.
And then even Satya Nadella, he was like, we are spending so much money on Copilot, you guys should use it. Like, don't force it on me, right?
I actually want to know. I mean, if you guys have used Copilot, is it good? Does it meet the barrier of like your Cloud Code or your Cloud Cowork?
Nah, not Cloud Code, nothing. It's nowhere close.
Not
but
for coding, but just like for Cowork, like for
I think
general usage?
corporates, it actually makes sense because again, for corporates, the corporate environment, they trust Microsoft more with their AI and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
So I know a cousin of mine, he uses Copilot at his work.
Yeah.
So, but for consumers, I think they have dropped the ball. And for
Yeah.
consumer, Apple is just taking over. For businesses as well now, a lot of people are moving to Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Apple just dialed in. They were like, okay, you want to use AI, but to use ChatGPT, you need a good phone. To use Claude, you need a good machine.
Yeah.
To use OpenClaw, people are buying now Mac Minis. You can use it on the VPS, but just about the user experience. Like
Yeah.
user experience is better.
Yeah.
And I set up OpenClaw on a VPS. I was just like, I can't do anything. Like I don't want to trust a VPS provider with my API tokens and everything, right? If everything is on my Mac Mini, then I can still have a bit
Like
of
it's local.
safeguard. Yeah, it's local. So I think that is very important with Apple, and they're dialed in, and especially with Gemini. I think for the past 2 years, people have been talking shit about Apple, but it just goes in cycles. People were talking shit about Google 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
now Google Gemini is so good,
Yeah.
and Google stock is way past all-time high now. It's just 310 moved
Well,
away.
Google's the one stock that's actually holding in the mega caps. Your
And I remember
big,
a
not
year-
your mega caps, your big
A
seven,
year
max
ago, Microsoft was at all-time high. All these stocks were at all-time high. Google wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's when I bought Google and I freaking sold Google shares. That is my biggest mistake of my life. And I sold Google shares, and now Google is making a crazy rally.
But again, it's cyclical. I'm sure
It's
at some
cyclical,
point,
yeah,
at some
for
point it'll
sure.
come
Like
back down.
Microsoft is not going out of business. Google is not going out of business.
You know
Apple
what is
not
going out of business? SaaS companies.
Yeah. SaaSpocalypse.
SaaSpocalypse, yeah. On Friday or Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. Cloud Code announced Cloud Code security. I don't know if you heard about this.
No.
So it's a specific Cloud Code tool to specifically enhance the security features of your products. And your security SaaS companies, they tanked. I think dropped 8%. Either I can't on average about 8%. These security SaaS companies were down on Thursday or Friday. So AI on some level is killing the tech market.
Yeah. And I think, do you think about that because of this OpenClaw and robots and Cloud Code, and people can just develop an algo within a day now, it has affected the market as well?
It does feel like it a bit. I don't know how much money is actually going into retail-driven algos. Of course, your main money in algo trading is still going to be your big players.
Yeah, I still feel like, I don't know if it's just phase of the market. At the moment, the volume is low, but I can't just see the sentiment on the tape.
I can't. I think, and this is just my read on the market, but I think 2022, which was a tricky year for many, because it changed the dynamic from 2020 and 2021, which was just straight up bull market, and 2022 was a bear market. But at least in 2022, what you had was slow but directional downside. The current market is just completely flat, completely sideways.
Even
and
Tesla, I remember from Friday, AMD, high, low. The sentiment, like on the tape, whenever you see a bearish move down, the sentiment is not bearish, so it reverses. Whenever you see a bullish move up, the sentiment on the tape is not
it's
bullish.
not bullish. It's like when it's dropping, you still see buyers every couple cents, and when it's going up, you still see sellers every couple
And
cents.
that is the sign of algo AI. So a lot of people are like, earlier, if I want to make like 2 years ago, if I'm like a trader, I want to develop an algo, the barrier to entry is very high.
Mm-hmm.
But now the barrier is very low. With Cloud Code, you can pay like $20 or maybe $200 a month, and you can develop an algo within a day, most likely.
Yeah.
And you can run the algo. It's profitable or not, that's another story. But it's just like the algos now, I feel like, are taking over the market. People were saying that AI is going to take over the market. I hope it's a phase of the market. It recovers. We will see sentiment on the market, like on the tape again, because the market moves in cycles. So most likely, do you like any setups for next week?
Nvidia has earnings next week.
Wednesday. Thursday is going to be insane.
I really hope Nvidia finally cracks that 193, 194.
Nvidia is a stock that is usually good to trade after earnings.
Yeah, it usually gaps up and tanks.
Sells off, yeah. But the
But
price
either way,
action
we'll
is
take
nice.
it. Like it's something that at least there's something to look forward to.
Some sentiment, finally.
Some sentiment maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. But other than that, I don't know. Like MU was looking good through the
But the good
end
thing
of
is
last
that
week.
last week was so bad because now the weekly bar is very small.
Yeah.
So this coming week can be
Potentially.
because if we break the weekly high or weekly low, provided that the sentiment is there, because market moves in cycles, the slow periods are usually followed by highly volatile periods. So hopefully we get some nice price
it's weird
action.
because like I don't know what's going to move the market anymore. Because I think last week we had GDP that came in at like half of what the expectation was. The tariff announcement with SCOTUS like ruling against it. Nothing is moving the market
How
anymore.
is the GDP gonna do good? Because a lot of people are losing their jobs. AI is taking over.
Apparently not, right? Like I think the employment reports are still coming in as expected.
But people like US again is losing a lot of money on AI as well. Yes, you are paying, but how much they are paying on the back end for the tokens and everything.
It's losing.
At the moment, it's all about generating just getting people on board. But at the end of the day, they are still losing money. Like all these companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, they are the energy and everything that it takes for the token that they are giving you.
Yeah.
They are just like subsidizing everything for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it's going to last. Everything is going to keep on getting expensive. I don't think so it's going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
The old models are going to keep on getting cheaper, but who wants to use the old model? That's the thing, right? Because if the new models are there, you don't want to. Yeah. So the old models are going to keep on getting cheaper, but the new models, I don't think so. They are going to get cheaper. They are only going to get expensive from here. What do you think? Because a lot of people are like, at the moment, it's $200 like Cloud Code Max subscription. It's going to be like $50 or two years from now. Yes, I mean 4.6 is going to be $50. But the higher models are only going to keep on getting expensive.
It's a very slippery slope that we're currently in because running these models costs money. Takes electricity. And unless we can find a way to improve the efficiency of electricity generation, be it solar, be it renewable, be it by even non-renewable sources, unless that changes, the data centers are still going to take as much electricity. Also with the shortage of special metals, that on the same time is just getting more expensive. So that cost is also going higher.
Yeah, I just remembered a reel. I think you sent me this. Even if you message ChatGPT good morning, the token it takes is like a guy is sitting in front of the computer, like he wrote something. But for example, even if you say good morning on Google, it's like you never said good morning to Google. It's like, so now good morning, that is taking a router and taking a huge path, burning tokens, burning
going
electricity.
Across the ocean under the
hey, good morning, how are you? Just to give you one sentence answer. That's what Sam Altman also said, that stop saying please hi, don't. Please, thank you to the
I'm still guilty of that. Like I kind of feel like I'm talking to a human, right? On some level, I
also say like please, but at the end of the day, Sam Altman was like, don't say please, don't say thank you, don't say hi, because it's just like consuming more electricity and tokens.
Yeah, fair.
So on that note, I think we can end the podcast. It's been an hour. So thank you for joining in, guys. We will see you guys on the next podcast. On the next podcast, we can talk about my switch to broker. Most likely, I'm going to be going with Lightspeed. I think it'll be finalized
by then. Yeah. So let us know any topics that you specifically want us to talk about. I feel like we have a pretty nuanced view of certain tech-related aspects. Living in Dubai as well, like how it can sort of fuel your AI goals, with the UAE sort of investing pretty heavy in educating the population on how best to use AI. And we'll see you in the next podcast.
That's it. And hopefully my voice is better on the next podcast, because I actually coughed a lot. You guys won't see it, but I will have to cut the clips a lot more job for me, because I did the podcast but I coughed a lot. You guys can hear it from my voice, but hopefully by next week I'm going to be better. Thank you for joining in. See you guys in the next one.
See you.